It's loading. It says we're live. Let's confirm it.
Are
If you
we?
can hear this, are we? Like, we'll find, you tell us, dear listener, if you can hear the sound of our voices and see the smile on our faces, please type llama in the chat so we can, like, for sure. Yes, we are live. I just heard myself, so that's more than enough proof. Hello, everyone, and welcome wherever you are in the world. I see people on a land with a long name. I'll try to pronounce it Worcestershire. And it's apparently very cold. Oh, it's Trisha, Sparky, Frankie. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever you are in the world. I'm Ânia from Etchr, and with me, I'm honored to have Paula, who's also in Portugal.
Yes.
Same time
In
zone.
Portugal.
Very rare. Yes, and I'll just do the house cleaning and get straight to the interview. So just a few things before we start. This is not a live demo. We usually do live demos all the time. Today's a little bit more special, and we will unveil it as we go. I'm interviewing Paula. I wanted all of you to be a part of this. I want this to be a conversation, so please ask any questions you have for her in the chat. Just type the word question, all caps, so I can easily find it, and I'll put it in my document. I'll promise I'll ask as many questions as I can. And at the end, we will do a giveaway of one of our Etchr sketchbooks. Why a sketchbook? Great question. We'll get to that in just a second. If there are no questions from you, I think we will start. All right, Paula. We are here
Ânia.
to talk about. Let's start. We are here to talk about you and your art journey. And the one thing, and there are many things that led me to just, get in touch with you. But just for everyone context, I was going through my emails on another normal day when Jean-Pierre Shiwazawa, if you do not know him, please go and follow him. I'll put the link in the chat. Jun is a great friend of ours that we have in common. He's a teacher on our Etchr Studio platform. If you don't know about Etchr Studio, it's our art learning platform. I'll put the link in the chat in just a second as well. June told me about Paula and about her great idea she had, which she will share with you in just a second. And she's using our Etchr Sketchbook, which has 26 sheets of paper, so 52 pages. And she's painting something every week because a year has 52 weeks. It could have been on purpose. It was not. Honestly, I'll be honest. I will not tell you like, yes, that's the whole purpose of the Etchr Sketchbook. No, we try to put as many pages as we could because we try to make the best product, the highest quality at the most affordable price we can. So that's why we have 52 pages. It was our biggest. It's our most full sketchbook. But anyway, I'll shut up now and start the interview. So Paula. Thank you for
Yes.
joining me today, for joining everyone.
Glad to be here.
And let's start with the philosophical question that I love to throw at people. Do you remember when you first fell in love with art?
I can't say yes to that because I was so young when I started with my box of crayons. But the big box of Crayolas, right? The great big box with the pencil sharpener, the crayon sharpener in the back, came out the year after I was born. So I got it for like my third birthday. And so I started learning all the names of the colors and making stuff. And I've never gone back.
Are your parents like creative people, or you just discovered all of that on your own?
Yes. I mean, my mother was a musician and my dad was a teacher, but he also was a drama director. And he also took up painting when I was a child. When I was about 9 or 10, he took up painting as a hobby. Took some classes, in the evening and started painting. So I was kind of surrounded by it.
Your whole life, you've been surrounded by art, so it was pretty natural to you to start painting. And are you what now, like a full-time artist? How? Yeah, what's
I
your
am
journey
I
like?
am now a full-time artist. Um, I did not go to art school. I did not study, fine art. I studied theater and design
Oh.
because I was drawn to theater because of my dad's involvement. And I was afraid of art school, frankly, because I had a teacher in high school. I had one of those teachers who said, if you're not naturally talented, you shouldn't be doing art. And I had a best friend who
Me?
could draw anything without, yeah, I had a best friend who could draw anything without even thinking about it. And I struggled with drawing for a long, long time, with accurate proportions and all of that stuff. And so I figured I was not cut out for art school. And what I didn't realize is that when I went into theater design, I was going to be drawing a lot,
Mm.
but I didn't feel the same pressure for some reason. And so I did that, and I did that for a while. I mean, after I graduated, I did a lot of theater and made masks and props for theaters and designed scenery and designed some costumes and stuff like that.
So you kept doing art.
And yeah, just kept doing art, but in a different way. And I would think I was about 26 or so when I just started feeling the need to paint for myself, not paint
Oh.
designs, but paint for myself. And I thought it doesn't matter if anybody else likes it, I just want to do it. And I painted something that has kind of become a signature for me, which is like bare tree branches against a sky.
Hmm.
And I painted it, and one of my workmates saw it and said, would you consider selling that? I was like, sure. I think he paid me probably like $15 for it or something. Didn't matter. I was just so excited. Um, and yeah, and so that was kind of the start of that. And but I spent a lot of time doing other things, including traveling around teaching English as a foreign language, which got me to lots of countries where I could paint. And when I finally got to the point where I was getting Social Security, because I'm old enough, I went, I don't have to hustle anymore. I can stop hustling. And so that's when I got to start painting more full time.
Dear art teacher, if you're still somewhere and you're watching this, you were wrong. You were dead wrong. You don't tell that to people either. So,
No, it's a
uh,
horrible thing to say to people.
it is a horrible. Oh, Jean Pierre is here. He's watching. Hey,
Right.
Joe. And we got a very thoughtful comment from Frankie. I told you guys, this is a conversation. I'm reading the comments as they go. Unless you spam me, I will keep reading everything. Frankie said, it's so sad that some people discourage artists. There are so many amazing artists out there who are unique and will have someone who lives their work, and we're all different and have different styles. And that's what makes art so beautiful. I love it. Thank you, Frankie,
Yeah.
for that comment. And there are other people sharing their stories about teachers kind of putting them down, which is sad, but you're all here, so I'm glad you guys didn't
Well,
quit, and guys and girls, and thank you for being here too. Oh, hey, Sketches and Scrubs, our UK brand ambassador. We get all the VIPs today. um
hey.
continuing. All right, so I'm glad you have the time, the ability, the means to just be making the art that you love now. That's great. You're living my future. I hope I get there one day. Uh, Tell me when this idea for the one painting a week. I mean, you were telling me this just a while ago, and I love the story. So tell us how this came to be.
Well, I participated in an Etchr uh, panel interview thing where they were asking our opinions about different products. And there's always a prize. You always get something for doing that because Etchr is very nice that way. And at the end, the moderator said, do you want, would you like to have an Amazon gift certificate or a sketchbook? And I said, no, I don't want Amazon. I want a sketchbook. And I had to quickly decide what size I wanted. And I said B5, thinking I was saying A5. I mean, my brain was thinking A5 size, but I said B5. So I got a sketchbook the size of my head, which is much bigger than I like to carry around with
Double,
me.
nearly double.
They're lovely, but not what I like to carry around. And that's what I do mostly now with my sketchbooks is try and take them places. So I had this blank sketchbook sitting with me for like a couple of months, and I kept thinking I really should use that sketchbook. What am I going to do with it? And I don't know what made me think of it, but at some point, I think there was an insert in the back, in the pocket, that said, the paper and this and that, and how many pages it was. And it said it was 26 pages. And I know from using Etchr a lot in the past that the paper is good enough that you can paint on both sides without any problem, right? Because that's the quality. And so I went, 26 times 2 is 52. That's how many weeks there are in a year. So I wrote in the front of my sketchbook, I showed you this already, and I wrote, it is my intention to create one page each week of this year that will reflect the creative journey of 2024. And my thought was that I could paint anything. I could do anything in this sketchbook as long as it reflected whatever was going on creatively for me during that week. So there's a real range of stuff. It's different from a lot of my other sketchbooks in that my other sketchbooks have a range too, but it's just different because it really did end up reflecting like different projects I was working on when I did a workshop with special populations workshop, and I ended up doing, if I can find it quickly, should have marked it. Here it is. I ended up doing this, which is a combination of collage and painting and some notes that was about that workshop. So so every week is really different. There's nothing precious about it. I don't like to be precious about my sketchbooks. I love looking at the reels of people going through their sketchbooks that are so pristine and beautiful. But for me, a sketchbook is a place to work. And so it's different. So week one was great. Week one was nice. It was something I was thinking about, like experimenting with. And then week two came along, and I was cleaning my studio and stressing out and not getting any artwork done. And I thought, what am I going to do? I've got to do something in the sketchbook. I can't fail on week two. I can't fall at this fence. It's too early, right? So I ended up swatching my colors. That's my week two. That's all it is a swatch of
And
colors.
I love this.
Because there's no wrong way to do this. It's just, and it's kind of been magical because although I use a lot of sketchbooks and I usually have 4 or 5 going at any one time in different sizes and shapes and things, and sometimes they're themed and sometimes they're just work places to work things out. But the thing about this has been that there have been weeks when I wouldn't have normally done a painting. Like the week I was doing the workshops with special populations, I was exhausted, and I forgot how much energy it takes when I'm getting older, So I was doing all these workshops and I was exhausted, but I still managed to do something every week. So there was a consistency that it brought into my work that I don't know was there before. I mean, I do try to paint every day. I go into my studio every day, but some days it doesn't happen. But at least this way, at least once a week, it happens, no matter what else is going on in my life. And I love it so much that I already have my 2025 sketchbook ready to go.
I love it. Did you write something at the start too?
I haven't written in this one yet. I'm going to. I was busy getting ready for this interview, but
Thank you.
I have kind of a theme going because I did this oval medallion on 2024, and then 2025 has a fancier medallion because I had more time to think about it.
It gets fancy by the year. It's just leveling up like a game.
You notice that my little llamas always get colored in. I always color my llamas. And this one has grass under his feet, and this one is standing by the water.
I love it. I love it. Oh, the chat is just, brimming with positivity. Everyone's loving that. Are those covers painted? Virginia asks. Yes, that's what, yeah.
They
There's
are.
a bit of
Yes.
a delay between the text and the audio
Yeah.
here.
They're
So
painted.
yes.
They're painted with watercolor.
Wow.
A lot
Which
of
is
people
not super
say
easy because it absorbs the
it
watercolor, right?
soaks them up. But if you're patient, you can do it.
If you're not patient like me, you can paint with acrylic. That's what I do.
Yeah. Or use Posca
I'm not a
pens. You
patient
know.
person. Exactly. Pretty sure you can tell from the way I talk. Patience is not my virtue. I have others. It's fine. Um, Speaking of which, I love. So I really want to highlight this. I want to take a moment and highlight this. I absolutely adore how you wrote on the back cover of your book your intention for the year. And the reason I'm saying this out loud is because we humans, not artists, not me, I think we humans in general are really good at thinking about things, but not voicing them. And biologically speaking, when we think and feel something and when we try to voice it, those are two different parts of our brain that have to kind of connect with each other. So when we use words to make sense of our emotions and what we're thinking, something different clicks. Sometimes it's very noticeable that we think our thoughts are in order, but they're actually are not when you try to voice them out. That's one way of seeing it. So I feel like writing your intention down really solidifies
Mm-hmm.
the whole act of it. And I've been wondering if
I
anyone in the
agree.
chat, by the
I
way,
really agree because
go ahead.
the other part of that, what you said, plus
Mhm.
the whole thing about taking notes by hand as opposed to typing, all the research they've done about that, that people remember things better when they write it out by hand. It writes. There's something about the act of writing things that puts it deeper into your brain.
Yes.
And so for intentions, it's even more important than saying it, or at least as important as saying it, is
Writing.
the writing it because you're gonna internalize it more.
And every time you open your book, it's right there, unless you open in the middle of it. But usually, you just start with the that you see it. You can't.
Yeah.
It's hard to skip it. So that is great. And another thing that I found curious was that you just so happened to win the sketchbook at the start of the year. It was not a I'm going to do this yearly thing, very poetic, very New Year resolution, says the girl who just scheduled a New Year resolution kind of live interview. No, it just so happened to be on January. So I'm imagining it. If you had gotten the sketchbook in July, you would have probably done the same thing.
No, probably not.
You never.
It just that you never know the timing because you can start anytime. You can start anytime. A year is a year. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a calendar year. Certainly. But I don't know that I would have thought of it, or I would have framed it the same way. So there was something about that timing of getting it in December and then realizing, oh, it's January. I should start something new. I'll do
I
this.
loved it. And I loved it. And everyone, so this is why we're doing a giveaway of an Etchr sketchbook at the end, because Paula and I talked and we decided to make a challenge out of this. So part of today's conversation, and I still have a few questions for Paula, but I want to throw this out there so you people have time to think about it. Part of this conversation is I want to create prompts together. So you are free to paint whatever you want every week, but I know that some of us have a little trouble with coming up with an idea, and all of the challenges out there have their own prompts. So I thought, why not create 52 prompts for the year? We don't have to make them all today. Don't worry, 52 is a lot. But I was hoping that we could get a few prompts out there. So think about it. And at the end of our interview, we can just all spam the chat with a few prompts. I'll take it in, I'll digest them, and I'm going to create a place where all the prompts are listed and we're going to share it on our social media. Okay. So I just want this to be our thing. I don't want it to be Etchr coming up with something because it's not. Paula had the idea and we're all having this conversation together, and I want it to be our thing. And I hope it catches on, because if we get a bunch of people joining us, I want to do something special in December. So let's all, even I'm going to try and do the challenge. Me, who just had a baby and is very afraid of failing all of this, but I will. I will embody the challenge, Paula. You make me believe in myself. So that's
You could
something I
do
want to
it.
do. Okay, we can do it. More questions for you. Can you tell us about a time where you nearly failed or gave up on your challenge?
Um, well, like I said, the second week I was like, "Oh my God, I can't fall at this fence. It's way too soon." Um, I think that I think you can see it. I think you can see, like, this week was about making marks on paper, right?
Hmm.
It's just making marks on paper. I got a new brush, and that's what I did. I don't know what I would have done otherwise. Um, I'm trying to think. I don't think I really ever came close to not really not doing it. I came close to doing it at the very last second, and there were a few, and I can't remember which ones, but there were a few I know where I did two of them in 1 week because I missed. I didn't do it. I didn't quite get there. So I did one on, like, Monday of the next week, and I said it
Hmm.
was for last week, and then I did one on Thursday or whatever, and just did that. And but I did lots of things. Okay, the week I was getting ready to go to Italy to go to Jim Pierre's wonderful watercolor travel with watercolor workshop. This was what I did, and it's three little tiny paintings. One of my pile of stuff I was trying to pack. One of This is actually like a photocopy of a map of where I was going because I was traveling all. I was not flying. I traveled across Spain by train and then took a boat to Italy. And then just a little painting from my studio, like looking out the window of my studio, and wrote about how chaotic it was trying to get ready to go and trying to decide what to take and everything. And that was my, it wasn't really a painting, but it was a painting because I painted. I made art, and so that was that. And I had to struggle with myself because I was taking so much stuff to the workshop. I had to struggle with myself about whether to take this or not because it's big and heavy and all of that, which is why it was became the page of the week. But I took it because I didn't want to miss. I was going to be gone for 3 weeks, and the workshop was only a week, but I was going to be gone for almost 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks. I didn't want to miss any weeks, so I did this really loose thing in Spain, in Barcelona, when, like, all the places I had stopped in Spain. It's kind of a swirl of the different places. And then I did one when I got to Tuscany. And then I did one afterwards, which was a view from the train that I saw on the way to Pisa. And and then I got to the chaos of returning home because when I got home, I discovered that my husband, in my absence, had decided to get my studio insulated. Yay! But they weren't finished. Boo! So my studio was a disaster. So those were all weeks where I could have easily not done it, but I did it.
P. Barmy is asking, how do you come up with ideas to paint?
Oh, um, I take a lot of reference photos when I'm out. Sometimes, uh, like this is some fungus that I took a picture of in Italy, and I thought it would make an interesting painting, so I painted it. And then I had no idea what I wanted to do the next week, so I went outside and gathered some leaves and painted leaves. Nature is really my go-to, but I also do things like challenge myself to certain kinds of things. Like, I'll show you one in particular. These two pages. Um, I was trying to play with borders, with decorative borders. I'd been reading a lot of stuff about, like, illuminated manuscripts and things, and I was trying to play with decorative borders. And I had just gotten some nice new fine paintbrushes, and so that was my challenge, just to do two decorative borders and then paint something to go with it. The butterfly one was easy. That came to me right away. The other one, I painted the border and then I went, all right, what's going to go with that?
I
So we did.
love how you don't preciously plan the whole thing. Like, I know some people have a sketchbook just for ugly sketches and to prep their painting ideas, and then one where they do like one finished, whole beautiful painting. And I was wondering if you did that. So I just love that you just tackle it and go with the flow. It takes so
No,
much pressure off.
it's just a really random assortment of things. Um, I've got 3 views of a sunflower. I've got that was the equinox, night
Ooh,
and day. Um, this was a stormy day in Portugal, and this
very
was a
rare.
yes, this was a print that I painted, and then I had this washi paper that I had dyed, and I just put them together to make a sort of a collage
Ooh.
thing because I didn't know what I wanted to do again. But I had this piece, and it was like, okay, well, that can be the start of it.
There's a lot of love for your sketchbook in the chat, just letting you
Oh,
know.
good. I love my
A
sketchbook.
lot of love in your
My
process.
favorite recent thing in my sketchbook are these little sparrows. They're Italian sparrows, and I took pictures of them and I painted them when I got home. But I didn't realize until I started looking up sparrows online that there are like, I don't know, 115 different kinds of sparrows, and that these really did have a different feather pattern than the ones I was used to seeing, which is why they attracted my attention. I was like, oh, those are so cute. Look at that little mosaic on their backs.
See, the things that grab our attention and we do not understand why or don't even think about it until we try to draw it, and how much care and attention goes into observation. I mean, that's why
Yeah,
artists are queen observers and we know so much about so many random things because you have to when you're
exactly. Exactly.
uh
You know,
I'm
I have
loving
to
it.
I have to show you something else because you were talking about people who have sketchbooks that are, precious, and then,
Mhm.
different ones for trying things. I've got this is the sketchbook I took to Italy with me to sketch in. And this was something I had done before I left. This was something at home, right? So, and I really like it, and I'm probably going to turn it into a painting because that's another thing about my sketchbook practice is I find lots of things that I decide later will make a good painting that I might not have tried otherwise. So while I was in Italy, of course, I had to do things like in the workshop, like doing things with contrasting colors, right?
Hmm.
So that's in there. And then I had to do a notan study, which drove me crazy because I don't like working in black and white, but the teacher said to do it, so I did it.
Yeah, it
And I was
forces you to
really
think
glad I did it
deeper.
in the end. Okay. And then we did value studies,
Ooh,
right? And then I did then we were doing color wheel stuff, which turned into this little painting too.
I'm
And
enjoying.
then I painted something that I found on the way. And all of that's in here. And it's not necessarily pretty. Oh, and then I have the one really nice, really good painting of Tuscany that I did while I was there.
Nice.
But that was a result of doing all that other stuff, right? All the notan and the value studies and all of that stuff, and
It
really
all builds
looking at
up.
the landscape and observing, and then I finally could paint this.
I guess you had a good
So
teacher.
I had a great teacher. Anybody who wants to be better at watercolor, talk to Jean Pierre.
We have a bunch of June's classes on our Etchr Studio platform. Link incoming in a few seconds.
Yeah.
And I love that the Square Sketchbook is also ours, by the way.
Hmm.
Thank you.
And I love the Square Sketchbook. I love the Square Sketchbook, which came out after that interview thing, that panel thing that I did, because there were many of us who were saying we wanted Square Sketchbooks. So I feel some tiny, semi bit of responsibility for there being Square Sketchbooks, which, as you could see from that spread, you can do a beautiful double page landscape.
Have you tried our panoramic sketchbooks yet?
I haven't because I love the square ones.
Okay, you love the square ones. I cannot
Because I
argue
can
with that.
still do a panorama in the square ones.
You can. The square are very versatile.
They
You and everyone who asked for squares helped me in the quest of getting those squares in our shop. So I'm like, hey, we should do squares. And people are, do we have enough demand? Let's ask everyone. And everyone was like, yeah, squares. So thank you, everyone who said they wanted squares. Made my job easier. Okay. Thank you, Sherwool, for loving the panoramic. I'm just asking because there's a lot of panoramic stuff coming up in the near future on our socials. Anyway, that aside, the time is running out. So, one last question. And if there are any questions from you people, put them in the chat, all right? But we've been asking everything. Um, Before we end the interview and do the giveaway, I'd love to know about any advice, any tips you have for anyone who wants to take this challenge up.
Well, I guess, I mean, I've already said it. Don't make it precious, and don't feel pressured, because preciousness makes you feel pressured, you know. Those two words aren't really related, but they sound like it, and they are companions sometimes. I think the main thing is to do it. The main thing is to give yourself the grace to do it in whatever way works for you. And if that means that you are just color swatching, then that's cool. And if it means that you're doing an intricate thing that takes you more than a week, and that's okay too. And you can always do it as a double page spread if you want to do 2 weeks at once, which I didn't do, even though I do that a lot in my sketchbooks, but for some reason I didn't do it at all. I might do that this year. There might be a time when I say, oh, I'm going to be really busy next week, so I'm going to do a double page spread. And it's going to count for 2 weeks.
There you go. You can kind of bend the rules as long as you paint. That's the whole purpose. Like, why are we doing it?
Is painting, yes.
Then, as long as you paint, anything goes. I love it. Oh, one last question from the chat. I think Virginia has been asking this for a while. Any birch trees in your sketchbook? I think there's a passion for birch trees here.
Yes, I do have.
We're lucky.
Let's see if I can find it. Oh, there's one. There's one now.
Happy New Year, Virginia. Here's your tree.
Here's your
I hope
tree.
you're happy. Okay, let's get a few prompts in. The interview, we just wrapped it up. Before I go, again, yes, June's classes are amazing. Check the link. Anyway, we talked in the middle and the beginning of this interview that we are doing a challenge. There's a hashtag for it, which is 2025 art with Etchr, because the whole point is to do it in an Etchr sketchbook. But if you don't have an Etchr sketchbook and you're not planning on buying one, 100% respect that, as long as you paint. That's the whole point, okay? If you can do it in an Etchr sketchbook, I will be forever thankful. Because it has 26 sheets of paper, and you can paint on both sides. So you should do it. So that aside, let's invade the chat with prompts. Does anyone have any ideas? Paula, you can also just shoot prompts at us, and I'll digest them later. So any ideas? I believe birch trees might be one, right, Virginia? We need to have birch tree in there, like trees.
I'm going to show another one because this is based on neurographic art, where you make a bunch of lines crisscrossing, and then you work with the intersections. And it's a great, if you don't know what to do, it is a great way to start something. Because you can do other things. Like you can see, I turned it into a fishnet.
I recorded a class on mindfulness. It's like 5 videos, and I think that kind of art is part of the collection. If you are an Etchr Studio subscriber, there's a class that I taught about this kind of stuff, so you can go and check it out. I love that, and I'm loving the prompts. There's a lot of nature prompts. I will grab them all. Just put it in the chat, everyone. I'll grab them all. I'll digest them. I'll create 52 out of everything you're putting in the chat, and we will publish officially something next week with all the prompts and everything. So if you want to start today, you want to make your own prompt for today, it's great. You do whatever you want. Yeah, the first prompt is going to be free themed, so I'm not putting a prompt after the first week is over. But yeah, thank you for putting all of that in the chat. What if? I love what if. Okay, as for the giveaway, let me check something. Keep putting prompts, keep putting prompts. We are going to do a giveaway. And because I am crazy and I do not like technology, I'm going to do this the old way, which is, I love this so much. Let me grab a piece of paper. I know this software has a way, Sketches and Scrubs told me, has a way of doing a giveaway that is like I click a button and it's done. But I
I
like
love
doing this so much. It's like you writing, like writing on hand instead of typing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
I just
let's
saw I
pause
just
the
saw,
prompt.
saw two prompts I love. One is vegetables and the other is laundry.
Oh, laundry. I love
Thanks,
that.
Lindsay.
I love that.
Lindsay was at the workshop I was at, so
Oh,
she's
so
great.
friends, bunch of friends here.
Friends.
Okay, let's pause the chat for a second so I can explain the rules of the giveaway. And after we're done, you can keep on dumping prompts and then I'll close this and I'll just grab them all. So I am going, there's a sheet of paper you can see, blank. Maybe more than half of you know what I'm about to do, but in case you don't, I am going to write a number in here from 1 to 100. I'm going to write one number. You cannot see what it is. I'm going to fold it and it won't leave the screen, so you know I'm not cheating. And then when I say go, but only when I say go, everyone will write one number in the chat from 1 to 100. The person that gets the number right wins. If there are two winners, we will kind of do an untie kind of thing, so we get one winner only. If I say, for example, I'll use a number that it's above 100 so we don't run into any weirdness. If I say like the number is 137 and someone writes 136 and the other 138, the closest number that is lower wins. So 136 will win. Just so you know what the rules are. But the number will be from 1 to 100. Okay, I'm going to write the number now. I have nothing on my hands. Paper is white. I'm not cheating. This pen does not like me. Okay. This pen does not like me at all. But the number is set. I have the number. I'm writing it down. I'm folding the paper. And I'm gonna write. I wrote go on the chat. So Kim and Yukino, please put the numbers again. There's a bunch of numbers. When I write stop in the chat, I'll give you a few seconds. When I write stop in the chat, I will unfold the paper on camera so you can see what the number is. I just love this so much. See, this is so much better than a wheel.
Yeah.
I trust this better than tech. This is so fun. Okay. I'll give you a few like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to type the word. Okay, it's in the chat, so there's no issues with delay. Now I'm going to unfold it. And the number is 45. Is that a 45 in the chat? Okay. Did anyone write 45? Let's see. I see a 42. 42 so far is the closest. Lower 43. I see a 43. I see two 43s. Okay, we have to do an untiement. Is that a word? Untiement?
Tiebreaker.
A tiebreaker. Thank you. Just glad English is not my first language, so I can just make these things and I come up with Portuguese words. all the time too. So Elissa and Sparky, unless I'm seeing something wrong, you both have 43. Right? There's nothing higher than 43 and lower than 45, is it? Is there? No, there is not. Okay, tiebreaker. So there are two 43s. So let's do this again, just for you two. All right. So Elisa, Sparky, just for you two. I'm going to do this again. This never happened. I've been doing this since forever. I never had to. I never had to do this. Uh, you know what? Virginia has an idea. I think I have the budget for that. So Virginia says I think they should both get a sketchbook. You know what, Virginia? It's the new year.
Yeah,
I think I have the budget for that. I'm gonna get you guys, you both. I'm gonna get you a sketchbook. Yes, let's do that. I do have budget for it. So both of you get a sketchbook, please. I need you to email hello@etchrlab.com. I'll put it in the comment. hello@etchrlab.com. So email say you are the winner of the giveaway, one of the two winners, and to forward the conversation to me, and I will get your email. All right, so the team will pass it on. Just let the team know, and I'll take care of you. We'll figure that out over email. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you, Paula, for this wonderful interview. I had a blast today.
me too. And thanks for all the wonderful comments. I've had a chance to look through the comments while you were doing the giveaway. And thank you, everybody, so much for all your kind, lovely words. It makes me feel wonderful.
Yeah. Everyone was great. Wonderful audience. I will go through the chat later, okay, to get all the prompts. If you have any more prompts you didn't get the chance to say, you can put them there now. And yeah, thank you again. Please visit etchrlab.com. Get your own Etchr sketchbook if you don't have one. Paula says they're wonderful. I won't say anything because I'm biased, but they are right. I will not say who, but many known artists were using other branded sketchbooks and they swapped to ours because they're better. I will not say names. I'm just saying they're good. So please, we do them with all the love and care we possibly can. That I can assure you for sure. And if you don't like them, we completely respect that. So, but they're good. I can assure you that. Okay, I'll shut up now. Thank you. Have a great new year. Use the hashtag again. I'll put it in the chat. 2025 art with Etchr. If you post anything that is pertaining to this challenge, we want to see. And yeah, I guess I'll see you around. Thanks, everyone.